Booker Player 1 here, and it's time I thought I would do another tier list, because it's been, oh dear God, it's been a minute since I've done a tier list. I figured I would do a game that I'm far more familiar with than the last one. Not a big Donkey Kong Country expert, but I do love the Animal Buddies. This time we're talking about some different animal adjacent buddies, the Final Fantasy VIII Guardian Forces, the summons in that game. I will be ranking them on 3 different categories that I came up with all on my own with absolutely no help. That'd be appearance, which is like, do they look cool? Regardless of mechanically how they function, do they look cool? Usefulness, specifically in battle, is there a section of the game that they're helpful with? Are they not helpful? You know, is something we can use them for? And then probably the one that is going to make or break a lot of them, which is abilities. How do they function out of battle? What do they bring to the table aside from just throwing laser beams and fireballs at big groups of enemies? So let's get right into it. We're going to start by talking about our boy here, Q-Bird. We're going to talk about Q-Bird. I'm putting Q-Bird in the S-Tier. It's a giant bird made out of thunder and lightning that summons more thunder and lightning with a big spectacular light show. If you're me back in '99, the first time I played this, that shit blew your mind. Enough said. A lot of the more nostalgic Final Fantasy fans, and like more nostalgic than me, we're talking older than '99, which is already positively ancient. They might prefer Ramu, however you pronounce that. The Old Man, which he's fine. Old Man Thunder Sage is serviceable. I prefer Thunderbird. Honorable mention to Zappy Horse from Final Fantasy X. Now I know it has a name, but it's Zappy Horse. This is Thunderbird, and we have Zappy Horse in 10. But yeah, looks cool. Like it more than the Old Man. Now, as far as how useful he is in battle, your first couple of Guardian Forces you get, if you're playing casually, are extremely useful early game. You can just take out big waves of enemies much quicker than using your physical attacks. He's also, in this case, for Q-Bird, or Q-Man here, he is exceptionally useful if you're trying to defeat the X-ATM-092, the big spider robot that chases you in Dalit, is very vulnerable to thunder. So it's another way to pound more thunder magic at it. So yeah, he's pretty useful early game. Now, the thing that firmly cements him in S tier and would put him maybe even a rank above S tier if there was one, a triple S tier, if you will, Golden Triple S plus Platinum, are his abilities, because he has the card and card mod abilities, and anyone who is like sunk their teeth into this game enough knows that if you want to bust it wide open and just have the game on easy street for pretty much like 90% of the game, you lean real hard into card and card mod, since you can use card mod to turn cards into items that you can then use to make like better items or various types of magic for junctioning. like way earlier than like you are probably intended to, but they also give you card mod really early if you want it, so there you go. You want auto haste on everybody? Card mod. You want everyone's strength to be like maxed out before you even get to like the third boss? Card mod. It's all about card mod. Card mod is what puts Zappy Bird in S tier. We're going to move on to our other starter GF, that is Shiva. And Shiva... our blue ice lady for the evening, I'm going to put in B tier. So strictly based on appearance, it's very much I play the game for the plot. Yeah, definitely high tier on the appearance. Shiva being your other early game, I'm so excited about her, I can't talk. She is your other early game GF. And she's really useful for taking out the first major boss in the game, which is Ifrit, big fire guy that we're going to talk about in a moment. And of course, he's vulnerable to ice, so it's a good way for a casual run just to take him down real quick, like. And also, again, she's a screen nuke early on, which those are useful for a first time casual playthrough. She has the one battle that she shines in. Now her abilities, this is kind of what puts her in B tier for me. She's got your average, like some average baseline stat junctions. She can refine ice magic, and she gets like the Doom command, which is kind of whatever. It's not great. Doom is cute, and it exists. It is mostly useless. That's about it. The ice magic thing is useful if you want to refine water early on. Water is a powerful spell to get early in the game for attack stat, so that. But you can also just go get Tornado from Q-Bird, Quetzalcoatl, if you want to do that. So B is where we put the Ice Lady. Let's talk about our bestial bipedal fire-wielding Dogman, the Ifrit. Ifrit, we're gonna put in A tier. We're gonna put him in A tier. I like his design. I like the versions of Ifrit where he is more like bipedal and less like a doggo like he is in Final Fantasy X, which I still like the version of him in 10. It's still fine. Also of note, I had a figure of this guy. I still have it somewhere. Of Ifrit, and he has those big horns, and those things would not stay on. The figure looked really cool, but like if you looked at it wrong, like the horns would fall off. Just as a side note. But yeah, it looks really cool. It looks really cool, and he throws a big fireball at the enemies. What's not to like? He also, once you get him, that's your third GF, he gives you a big screen nuke like the other two do, so your full party of 3 can each have a screen nuke, if that's how you want to play the game for the early point. Sadly, like, there's not really a boss fight that he's just, like, tops in. The first time you run into a boss that is, like, particularly vulnerable to fire is, like, almost halfway through the game, and if you're playing even, like, reasonably well at that point, Ifrit is probably not how you take care of those. You can do it, but not as useful as the two early fights that Quetzalcoatl and Shiva can help you with. His abilities, however, put him just a slight notch above Shiva, in my opinion. He's pretty much custom made to be Squall's GF early on, since he comes with a Strength Junction and Squall is your melee damage dealer. So, he's really just set up to make the main character just better at hitting stuff, even if you play the game blind and miss every other GF. If you level properly and set your junctions right, it can carry Squall pretty much to the end of the game, just meleeing stuff down. He also has ammo refine if you like to use Irvine's Limit Break, if you want to get all the different special bullets that he can use. And you also even need it to get a couple of weapons. So, notably, he has the Mad Rush ability, which is not great. It's maybe a little better than Doom, since physical attacks work faster than a ticking clock, and physical attacks work on more stuff. But yeah, like turning your guy into an uncontrollable berserker is not my idea of a good strategy. Next we have Siren, who is another I play this game for the plot Guardian Forces. We're strictly speaking for appearance, man. It's another hot lady. She fits the description of a siren to a T. She is a hot, scantily clad lady with a harp. I have another anecdote about this one. I can't remember if it was the figure or the card, because I had both. Still have both. I forget the company. I'd have to look it up. I'll throw it up on screen and post once I do. But they made real life triple triad cards. So I had a triple triad card of Siren, and I also had the figurine of Siren, and I forget which one it was, but I was messing with whichever one it was, and my grandmother had come into the room and was like trying to be friendly, you know, like you do with your grandchildren, like, oh, little Booker player, what do you got there? She called me Booker player. You know, I showed her, and she's like, oh, well, that's pornographic. And as a child, I'm like, what? No, it's not. As an adult, I'm like, maybe a little. I didn't see it that way as a kid, though. Yeah, but I like the way like her hair wings work and the summon animation. It looks cool. It's not particularly useful, which we're getting into next. It does middling damage and can inflict silence on enemies, which is very firmly in the meh camp of attacks. So losing points for usefulness, definitely, compared to the other three that just come in and like hurt stuff. It is untyped damage, which I guess could be useful, but like elemental attributes do not play a huge role in this game outside of a couple of choice fights, so not as useful as you think it would be. What puts her in A tier for me, though, are definitely the abilities. She's basically set up to be the Ifrit for anyone that you want to have be your mage. She also lets you refine curative magic early on, which if you want to boost your HP values through junctioning, like you can easily do that with Siren. She also has the, what else? Oh, she has the tool refining ability. That's right. So tool refining, much like card modding, is the other ability you can use to like just go cuckoo bonkers gonzo banana shit on this game, just turning items into other more useful items. Between that and card mod, like you can pretty much get and do whatever you want. Just get any item you need and then turn those items into spells or other more useful items. It's kind of how you break this game in half, and Siren is definitely a way to do that. Specifically, you have to use the tool refining ability to eventually make dark matter and phoenix pinions if you are trying to get absolutely everything in a playthrough. She also gets I didn't talk about this earlier. If you played the game, you already know this. So the card command it's a command ability. It replaces one of your normal commands in a fight. So you would like give up item or magic for a card. You could do the same thing with Siren. She learns treatment. Same thing that Mad Rush and Doom are. And treatment is just like an on-demand remedy. If someone is like status affected up, they're all poisoned or whatever, you can just treatment and it fixes it. And she learns that, and that's very useful. So the fact that she just doesn't have a fight that she's particularly good at is the only thing kind of keeping her out of S tier for me. Let's move on to the brothers. I don't know why I said it that way, but we'll move on to the brothers. The brothers, I think, are going to end up in B-Tier. So the brothers, you can't really tell, this is not a great picture of the brothers, but that's two Minotaurs, and they do one of my favorite gags, which is the older brother is small, younger brother is big, and it's a shtick that I'm super here for. And their summon animation is hilarious. They play rock, paper, scissors to determine who gets thrown up at the giant hunk of dirt for their attack, and I love it. It's great. Like, no notes, 11 out of 5. As far as how useful that attack is, it's another screen nuke. It's a really funny one, and it's kind of lengthy, but it's funny. It's only really useful if you're just hell-bent on exploiting an elemental weakness. And I can't even, I'm sure there are some, but I cannot think of a prominent enemy in the game that is weak to earth as an element. So, but their abilities are what keeps them in B tier. They're not terribly useful in battle, but out of battle, they have a fair bit of good junctions. Their role is really to turn somebody into a tank. They get a bunch of HP increasing abilities. They get the HP up ability where you get more HP when you level. And they come with one of my favorite commands, which is the defend command. Defend is insanely powerful and just lets you tank a bunch of attacks in the game, including some of the stuff that Omega Weapon, the strongest boss in the game, can do. So, basically, if you know an enemy's attack pattern, especially like Omega Weapon that has a set attack pattern, Defend just makes that fight a cakewalk. It's really, really good. They just don't have any refined abilities for items or magic. You can't get anything out of them. You know what? Defend is so good. No, A tier. I have B tier in my notes. I'm like, no, Defend is really good. Like, without the Defend command, we don't beat Omega Weapon without using items. So yeah, we'll crank them up to A tier. They can make a character super tanky, and they let you beat Omega Weapon. That's worth an A tier, I would say. Also, let it be known that I love this game. This is my favorite game. So, like, even if there's going to be like one or two who are going to end up in D tier, but I still love them. I still love all these guys. All of these guys are my favorite. Speaking of favorites, we have Diablo. Diabolus. Not Diablo. That's a different game.
Not even death can save you from me.
Diabolus, I will put in S tier. We'll start with S tier. I mean, 'cause let's face it, man, it's a badass red and black demon. He's made of bats. It's peak design. And then he hurls a death ball made out of a black hole at everybody. It's amazing. 11 out of 5. No notes. And it's a badass attack that also is useful at all. It does, so it's a gravity-based attack. So it does like HP percentage damage, which I believe is based on Diabolus's level. Some enemies are immune to it, but notably Tonberries are not. And there's a side quest you got to do later on to get one of our other GFs where you got to kill a bunch of Tonberries. And having Diabolus and or his ability to make a gravity magic along for the ride is... Oh, I don't think he actually has that ability. Maybe he doesn't. Oh, he's somebody else. Checking the notes. No, he does. He makes time magic. So yeah. But Diabolus makes cranking through 20 plus Tonberries go a lot faster. So he even has a use. I also don't know where I would put this, I guess maybe in appearance, but like you get him out of a magic lamp that your school principal gives you. Just adds another layer of just like what the fuck awesomeness to him. And I dipped into this a little bit. Look at my notes here. He has a great set of abilities. The most useful ones are probably Mug and Encounter None. Mug does what Mug always does, lets you rob enemies. And then Encounter None is great if you're doing like a low level challenge, or you've already got everything you need in an area, or you're just trying to get to a save point. Maybe it's your first time playing and you're out of items. There's scenarios to have Ink None, lots of scenarios. And it's a way to do it without having to play like a remastered version of the game that just has like Ink None on like a cheat menu. And those are both really, really useful. He also has the coveted ability ×3, where on the character menu, once you assign your command abilities, you can assign like other abilities at the bottom. And normally this is like strength plus 20, HP plus 20, stuff like that. Auto haste whenever you learn it. But most GFs only let you do 2. Diabolus is the first one that lets us do 3, which is really, really useful when you get him. The only thing kind of holding him back is... other than his command ability is Dark Side, and all that does is like you do more damage, but it damages you in the process. But if your junctions are good, you don't need it. So that's like the one drawback I see for Diabolus is like Dark Side is garbage, but everything else about him is chef's kiss. So let's talk about this cute little guy. Let's talk about Carbuncle. Carbuncle, I think B tier. Yeah, we're gonna do B tier. He's absolutely adorable. I have minifigs of this guy and a couple other I have like a little Carbuncle, a little Tomberry, a little Cactar. I love my little Carbuncle. It's adorable. And his animation is cool. Like he just kind of opens a hole up out of nowhere and he pops up and Ruby lights the entire party, and it's great. He is useful in exactly like 2 fights, and it's the source 2 of the sorceress fights. You can set up reflect on everybody, and it makes the boss waste time dispelling reflect instead of throwing damage at you, which is great on a casual playthrough. Not bad at all. But other than that, like I can't think of a great time to just whip out Carbuncle when the better move isn't like just beat the boss. But if you're playing casually or you're playing without wanting to bust the game wide open, the reflect ability off of Carbuncle is useful for a couple of fights. As far as the abilities that Carbuncle has, he has a couple of good ones. He's got some good stat junctions. He has some HP boosters, although the Brothers is still better at it. And has the ability to refine some recovery items, the most useful of which is Mega Potions, which I'm not going to go into it here. Maybe I'll make a separate video if there's just interest, but there's Mega Potions, I believe, are one of the ways to like get infinite money in this game. Not that money is terribly useful in this game. There's not a lot you really need money for, but if you want infinite money, there's a way to do it. Carbuncle also has the counter ability, which isn't terribly useful, but it does let you counterattack. Even if you're like, well, let's say you could like use it with Mad Rush, or if you have the defend ability active, or you're summoning a GF, it lets you still get damage in while you're doing other things or using other commands, which is neat, but not terribly useful. Carbuncle's biggest contribution is just being another GF, sporting the ability to let you junction 3 support abilities instead of just 2, just like Diabolus. Yeah, like I said, it's all useful in a couple of fights. I might actually move it up. It helps you do the infinite money glitch, because it lets you make Mega Potions. You know what, we'll say A tier. I'm going to say Carbuncle A tier. The infinite money glitch is I think grounds for a bump, I would say. We have Leviathan. There's a big old water snake. It's okay. I don't hate it. It's not my favorite. The neatest part of his animation is where he turns into the waterfall and does the thing. I'm gonna say C tier for Leviathan. I will explain. Again, I'm kind of very whatever on the summon animation. He's a screen nuke. He does water damage. The most useful part about his summon animation is that it's really long, so it gives you a chance to boost it quite high. A lot of GFs have the boost command where you can sit there and you can mash the square button, and if you get it cranked up high enough, the GF will do more damage. And obviously, if the summon animation is longer, then you have a longer time to mash that button. Sadly, the only enemy you can really take advantage of with that is the giant cactar. Beyond that, nothing really. And as far as his abilities, it is just this side, just the good side of okay. We can refine support magic, and he lets us learn the recover ability, which is just like a full heal as a command. You can just replace like magic or items with "you stop dying." So on-demand full heal is good. You can also turn it on undead enemies. But other than that, the kit is kind of boring. He has auto potion, which like some builds or runs might want to use, but I'm just kind of very whatever on on auto potion. I almost never use auto potion unless it's like a fight where it's part of the strategy. But yeah, just kind of a whatever screen nuke with no hilarity to it. A very okay kit. It's about the best I can say about it. We'll move on to Pandemona. Pandemona, we're gonna put in B tier. So this is the first GF where I think the appearance is what's hurting the score more than how useful it is in battle or its abilities. Because anytime I summon Pandemona, I'm like, yeah, it's some kind of like humanoid, bipedal, mutant thing. But I'm never really sure exactly what I'm looking at. Also, and then it just vacuums everyone up into a big flesh balloon, which is a sentence that I said. Not a fan. I think it looks silly. It doesn't look very cool. Add to that, its usefulness is very whatever. It's a screen nuke with wind damage. Not super useful. The animation is not super long, so you can't even boost it, which is actually no, because its abilities are what's gonna save it from C tier. If it didn't have any better abilities, it would definitely be C tier. So, Pandemona looks goofy and is not worth summoning in battle other than just to see it the one time. But it does come with some very useful abilities and junctions. Pandemona is our first speed GF. Picks up a bunch of speed boosting support abilities as well as finally letting us junction to speed. Even a halfway decent spell on your speed stack can drastically change the game for you, and let alone if you put something like haste or triple on it. Essentially, the math breaks down that the more of your turns you get is the less of the turns that the enemy gets, which equals profit. Somewhere. I'm bad at math. Pandemona can also learn initiative, which is useful for fights where you're farming and want to go first. The best example would be like if you're farming Cactars. My preferred strategy for farming Cactars is to get Irvine and critical, so you can use his limit break, put initiative on him, and then load up the shotgun ammo and just have him blast the whole field with shotgun ammo and kill, 2, 3, 4 Cactars at a go, depending on how lucky you get. And then Pandemona's command ability is Absorb, which is preferably in the it exists category. Not great. If Pandemona looked cooler or had a really useful function in battle, I could easily see putting it in A tier. But its usefulness is strictly in its abilities. Other than that, but good abilities, speed very useful. We move on to one of my personal favorites, another one that I had a figure of as a kid. I think I still have it somewhere, is Cerberus. A tier for our good boy Cerberus. I love this take on Cerberus. It's not just like a normal dog with 3 heads. It's like this big, armored, 3-headed bestial creature. And I've seen a lot of Cerberuses in my day throughout my storied video gaming career, and this is still the first. If someone mentions Cerberus, this is what I think of as this Cerberus. So despite the boss fight kind of being a pain in the ass if you don't know how to do it, and looking absolutely terrifying, Cerberus is a support GF. It comes in and does double and triple on the whole team, and there are a couple of fights where that's useful, but it's not terribly time-wise cost efficient to use a summon to do that. Usually it's easier just to character A cast triple on character B cast the spell that you want to cast 3 times, and you just go from there instead of having to waste it with a summon. So I will say it looks really cool. This is really more talking about appearance again, how it looks. The animation itself is very cool with the gates and the lighting and stuff, but also it casts double and triple, which is very why are you doing both? You just cast triple.
This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
You don't need double. No one ever does the double. So, despite not being great in battle, its abilities are, again, it's another GF where its abilities are going to keep it in the ranking that it's in. Its junction abilities are some of the best you can get at that point in the game that you get Cerberus. It's another speed GF with more stat junctions at the ready. And also another GF that has the ability ×3, which basically gives you your entire team can have the ×3 ability if you've gotten all the GFs up to the point that you get Cerberus. Every character in the active party can have 3 support abilities, which is great. Also comes pre-equipped with status defense ×4, which if you have been drawing or refining magic, you can do your best at making a character essentially immune to status ailments if you have the right spells, which is great. It's got a passive ability, which is alert. It keeps you immune to back attacks, but we have Diabolus at this point. Like, if you don't want things fighting you, just using Canon. Cerberus's cherry on top, though, is auto haste, which is essentially what's better than slapping triple on your speed stat? Why, having auto haste on top of that. So you just get a million turns, and the enemy never gets any. It's always good to have more turns. But yeah, decent junctions, great status defense, and you can make one character just an absolute speed demon. It's really hard to argue with. Essentially, where Cerberus sits for me is if its battle ability was slightly more useful than just triple on everybody, it would probably be an S tier. Consider Cerberus, if there was like a tier between these two, Cerberus would be like A+, because of all the goofy stuff that it gets. Alexander. Alexander's another A tier for me. I like Alexander. It's a giant robotic castle that fires holy laser beams at the bad guys. Love it. Great summon animation. Not what I was expecting. Because obviously, if you're playing the game for the first time and don't have like a guide in front of you, or at least not a guide with pictures, and you know to draw this GF, like all you see when you first get him, all you see is this portrait. Like, oh, I can't, is that a knight? I can't really tell what I'm looking at. And then you summon it, and it's just a gigantic robotic castle thing with lasers. It's great. I love it. It's another screen nuke, which we've already kind of determined is not great for usefulness. But it does deal holy damage, which is worth noting, if for no other reason that it's one of the few ways that the player has of doing holy damage to anything outside of the spell holy. We don't really have any other way to do it. That being said, there's only a couple of edge cases where you might need holy, but on a casual playthrough, it's useful against certain enemies. Undead enemies don't like it. Makes it slightly better than a couple of the other screen nukes that we've seen. Alexander's abilities, it's essentially the other half of our defense abilities. Lets us junction 4 spells to elemental defense instead of status defense. Which means with the right junctions and spells, you can make someone essentially absorb all elements if you really wanted to. Or at least be immune to whatever element is relevant for a fight you're about to go into, if you know that an enemy is going to use a certain attack or whatever. You can essentially put both on one character, and it's a way to make that person just essentially invincible. If you do status and elemental defense ×4 on the same character, makes them basically invincible. Alexander also has the highly coveted ×3 ability, so we can slap him on more support abilities. And we also get access to another great command ability, which is the Revive. You can just have full life on demand as a command. Which I don't recommend you do this all the time, but it is kind of fun to set up one person with treatment, recover, and revive, and just have them be the designated white mage. It's not super good, but it's kind of fun. It's a fun kind of meme-ish build if we're gonna be real about it. Of note is that we need Alexander's med data and med level up abilities if we want to get another GF later on, the one we're getting ready to talk about, Mr. Doomtrain down here. While making more powerful healing items and making them heal for double aren't awful, we already have command abilities like Recover. That being said, if you want to sync up med data and auto potion together, if you want to be an auto potion gamer, sync it up with med data and just be even more unstoppable. But yeah, looks cool as fuck, decent combat capabilities, and a handful of good abilities. If he had some better stat junctions, I could actually see maybe putting him in S tier or slightly behind Cerberus in the A+ tier that doesn't exist. Let's talk about Doomtrain. It's time. It's time we talk about Doomtrain. Put Doomtrain in B tier. So look, some people, you might think like the killer ghost train thing is cool. I'm not really one of them. The whole concept is just very silly to me. It's a undead train with like a goofy face. I do laugh when I see the train hit enemies. Like, that part always cracks me up, but it's a demonic transformer. I'm not here for the appearance. I'm sorry. Gets no points on appearance for me. And I usually like creepy, undead, demonic bullshit. That's kind of like my wheelhouse, but I'm just not feeling it with this guy. Sorry. As far as usefulness, in battle, he does middling damage, but he also comes with a train load of status ailments whenever he hits somebody. It makes him particularly useful against a couple of choice boss fights, namely if you are doing a first or casual playthrough of the game. He is very useful in the second Fujin and Raijin boss fight, since they are humans and susceptible to all of those status ailments. Just smash Doomtrain into them and the fight's essentially over, because they can't do anything at that point. They're all blinded and silenced and poisoned and whatever the hell else. So that does lead into the drawback, though, is that by the time you get Doomtrain, that's pretty much the last fight that he's useful in. You can technically crash him into Cypher, I guess, but you don't really fight a whole lot of humanoids after that, which are the enemies that are most susceptible to all those status ailments. It's a screen nuke that does a bunch of status ailments. It does kind of put Siren out of a job, since he's just, does what she does, but better. The reason Doomtrain is such a hassle to get, which is also, I don't know where I would put that at, but like, you need to do a lot of prep work to get him. It's a whole side quest where you got to get some particular items and go to a particular place and get another item. It gets a hassle. But the hassle becomes, the reason for it becomes very apparent when you see what he can do. He is the GF that's still trying to make Darkseid be a thing and Absorb be a thing, and they aren't going to be things ever. But he comes with both status and elemental defense ×4, so it lets you tank up another character if you want to. He also has the ability to let us visit junk shops on command, which is great. Cuts out travel time. If you're farming items, you don't have to be like, all right, yes, I finally got my last whatever to build this weapon. Now let's get back in the ship and go to the town. You can just open your menu up. There it is. Super useful. And he also gives the ability to refine forbidden medicine, which is your rare stuff like elixirs and stat up items. Which is this is where we'll talk about the money glitch again. It's worth noting that if you don't value your time at all, you can boost your stats as high as you want, but it's a very tedious process that will make you never want to see the gray boxes of this game's menu screen ever again. But it's neat that we can do it. Oh, and he also gets auto shell. Auto shell's pretty good. So yeah, looks goofy as hell. He helps trivialize one annoying boss fight on a casual run and has some decent abilities out of combat. But like no stat junctions, a gimmicky attack, the stupid look takes him down a peg for me. Now, if we were talking strictly on like just how useful the abilities are, then Doom Train would be much higher. But this is an overall package. But if we're strictly on like how useful is he out of combat, not how he looks or how he attacks, just what can he do out of combat, he'd be much higher. Definitely worth getting. Don't let these ranks make you think that they're not worth getting, because every GF is worth getting. Alright, let's talk about the poster boy here. We have Bahamut. Bahamut is going to be an easy A tier for me. Do note that this is just Bahamut, not Neo Bahamut or Bahamut Zero or Bahamut Hearts or Bahamut and Shrimp, Neo Dark X Death Bahamut. No, it's just Bahamut. Just Bahamut. It's really hard to mess up a Bahamut. This is a very generic looking Bahamut, but he kind of has the same problem Shiva has for me in this game. He looks cool, but I would say that Tin's Bahamut looks way cooler, so just Tin's Shiva also looks way cooler. It's not a bad design. It's a very average one. And the attack animation, while it's a tried and true attack animation, the whole gathering up energy, giant mouth laser ball of death, it's hard to beat Mega Flare. It still looks cool. It looks cool this many years later. I still think it's cool. Say it with me. For usefulness in battle, it's another screen nuke. However, his is one of the only attacks that is non-elemental. So at the very least, you'll know it's effective against almost anything. Also, you get him so late in the game that the damage starts off at a respectable level for it being a screen nuke. I still don't recommend you rely on screen nukes if you're going to try to bust the game wide open, but it's not bad. You could do worse. Bahamut does not come with any status junctions, but more than makes up for it. He gives us another instance of Mug, so you can have two thieves. He has Magic and Strength plus 60, making good for either sort of character, so either a mage or a melee damage dealer. He also lets us finely refine forbidden magic like Meteor and Ultima, which if you're trying to max everything through the roof, you're going to need Ultima. Auto Protect is another thing he comes with, which is really good, lets you tank up a character even harder. And arguably his best ability, he has ability times 4. So one character gets 4 support abilities at once. So you could have HP, Strength, Speed, and then like Mug, or something else like that. It's really good. Really puts him in A tier. If his attack was a little more useful, or had a fight that it was useful in, that would probably put him in S tier. That's really the only thing keeping these two above Bahamut and like Cerberus is that their attacks have uses and theirs really don't. Bahamut very good though. That the ability times 4 alone is just super good. And I hate to do it. I hate to do it. Let's talk about Cactuar. Cactuar. You're my boy, but Cactuar is gonna go in D tier. Let's talk about why Cactuar is in D tier. If I was doing a tier below this, Cactuar would still be in D tier. He would not be in the garbage tier. Probably nothing would be in the garbage tier, which is why there is no garbage tier. But someone's got to be at the bottom, and it's our boy Cactar. And I'm going to tell you why. Appearance-wise, he's fine. It's an iconic Final Fantasy monster. It's a Cactar. And we actually get to use it instead of being the receiving end of it. That's fine. Great. Love it. It's another non-elemental screen nuke, and his damage is based on his level. It's 1,000 damage per level to a max of 10k at level 100, which is neat, but like realistically, unless you just do not value your time, are you going to level your GFs all the way up to 100? I'm not. Not again. As far as his abilities, he is the only other GF besides Brothers to naturally learn the Defend command, which gives you 2 characters that can tank anything via the Defend command, which is great if you're trying to fight, you know, Ultima or Omega Weapon. You pretty much need those if you want to do those fights without having to resort to using the invincibility items. He also offers evade and luck junctions. But those are its only junctions, rather. So, no one else really does evade or luck, but that's all Cactar gets. Now, to be fair, you can buy items and teach him the other junctions, but this is, again, based on what they come with out of the box when you get them, not what you can turn them into. So, he also has the Kamikaze command, which I can't really recommend for anything beyond just seeing it to see what it does. Giving up a character for a burst of damage is not my favorite thing to do ever, unless it's like a lot of damage. The rest of his kit's usefulness really fluctuates on whether or not you want to do a lot of level and min-max, because he comes with a bunch of the level up abilities, so get more strength or HP or what have you when you level up. So what some people do if they're planning to do a full max level game is they'll try to hold off on leveling until they get Cactar, and then load up one person with all the plus abilities and then go somewhere and farm XP so they get higher stats naturally than they would if they'd just been leveling up over the course of the game. He is useful in that one particular niche instance. Otherwise, not my favorite. Cactar is a cool, chill little guy, but he's not super useful if you're planning to min-max and do a bunch of leveling that you might rank him higher, but his lack of other junctions and level-dependent damage are negatives for me. I personally feel like the best thing he has going for him is the Defend command, and that's about it. Like, once you're done gearing up your party to take on Omega Weapon, you slap Cactar on whoever isn't using Brothers just so they have access to Defend command. That's about it. Conversely, let's talk about our other little buddy, the Tonberry. A tier getting kind of crowded, but Tonberry is another A for me. He's another little cute monster dude, but now he's our ally, and it's a Tonberry. A lot of personality behind the summon animation. He gets the little doink chef's knife. I love it. In battle, he stabs a single target, and that's it. It's not even a screen nuke. He just hits one dude, as far as I can tell. Very long summon animation, so you could boost him, I guess, but hitting only the one guy is kind of whatever. He shares some similarities ability-wise with Cactar. He has no stat junctions, but he has percent boosters for luck and evasion, as well as auto potion and the ability to heal HP while walking, which are all very whatever, but he also has initiative. So if you wanted 2 people to go first, you could do that. Of more importance, though, are his level up and level down skills. If you're trying to draw certain magics or find certain items, the way that works in this game, if you don't know, which you're watching this list, maybe you do know, item drops and drawable magics are based on enemy level, and enemy level is based on your level. So if you do something too early or wait too long to do something and are the wrong level, you might bar yourself from being able to easily get certain magics or items. Tonberry has a command for both leveling up and leveling down an enemy. So if you find the right enemy and they're not dropping what you want, you can sit there and play with your levels until you start getting what you want. Tonberry also takes a page out of Doom Train's book and then makes it better. He lets you revisit any shop you've been to on command. He'll let you sell items for more, buy items for cheaper, and find rare items in specialty shops. So during the last stretch of the game when all the shops are closed off, he is extremely useful in that case because you can use him to like restock on Phoenix Downs or get stuff you need for item modding or whatever. Very, very, very useful. So useful, and the fact that while his attack is not great, it looks really funny. It looks really cute. So between the very funny, cute animation and the fact that he's a Tonberry and looks really cool, and his ability is really good, puts him in A tier. If his attack was like Mega Duke 9000, then maybe S tier because his abilities are that good. But and then we have what is essentially the ultimate summon of the game, Eden.
Well, this is going to take a long time, so you may want to get some snacks.
Eden's gonna be our other S tier. Like I said, a lot of people ended up in A tier. To be fair, I moved a B tier into A tier. Because I believe I think it was Siren. That was 20 minutes ago. I don't remember what I said. So, Eden is this weird blend of like angelic architecture. If like a sci-fi spaceship crashed into it. It's not awful, but trying to just like parse and decipher like what you're looking at it's kind of a daunting task if you're not used to like staring at JRPG bullshit like I am. I think it looks cool. It also has the longest summon animation in the game, which is going to let us talk about its usefulness in a second. But Eden is just like the epitome of what a JRPG long summon animation should be. It's all space and lasers and folding space-time and explosions. It's so over the top. It's very on brand. Because summon animation is so long, it is one of the only I think it is the only GF that you can boost all the way up, and even lets you break the damage cap of 9,999. Which the only other GF that can do that is Cactar if you want to grind him all the way up to 100. Eden can do it out of the box, which is good. It's also really neat if you've been playing like this and before this Final Fantasy VII, etc., where like you're just kind of used to seeing, 4 9s is the max anything can do. Seeing something do 10,000 or more damage was just like, what? No way. That's so cool. In a casual playthrough, Eden will be one of the most damaging things you could do if you can boost it all the way. your average standard enemy probably won't be able to handle getting hit by Eden. So if you're just walking around killing random mobs, that's great. Also, Eden is one of... well, actually, this is all the GFs. In the last dungeon, if you missed most of these guys, you have a chance to get them again. If you get Eden the way the game wants you to get her, it's locked behind a very powerful boss. So having another way to get it also kind of gives Eden some points in my book. They don't make you break your balls trying to get it if you don't want to. Which, as someone who likes games that respect your time, I appreciate that. As far as the abilities go, she's got a handful of stat junctions, include our third naturally occurring speed junction, so you can have a full team of speedsters finally, and an evade junction. So you can have some tank, you can have a couple of tanky boys, everyone can be speedy by the time you get her. You also get another instance of Darkside and Mad Rush for some reason. On a more interesting note is the Devour ability, which is a command ability that is both hilarious and potentially useful for stat maxing should we eat the right enemies. That's right, I said eat. You can go full-on Kirby mode on your enemies using the Devour command. I've never looked too deeply into the guts, no pun intended, of how that command works, but essentially just go around, eat stuff. It might make your stats go up, it might make them... I don't think it can make them go down. But if you want to embrace your inner Quina from Final Fantasy IX, there you go. You can eat stuff. Eden also lets us refine items that can teach GFs abilities, letting us load up our less useful GFs with lots of useful killer abilities. So, you know, if you're just really unimpressed with what Cactar can do, you can use Eden to, like, get the stuff you need to make him suck less. Also, by the time you get Eden, if you've got all the GFs, you have access to Call Shop Card, Tool Refined, all of the magic refining abilities. You can pretty much do whatever you want at that point. So my final rank for Eden obviously stays in S. It's the ultimate summon, can nuke things for more than max damage, and makes all the other GFs suck less while offering a slew of decent abilities and junctions for the person using her. So... I did not include the other summons that you can get like via items and stuff. Mostly because they don't... all they do is the thing they do. I could do another tier list on those if there's interest in it. But that's going to be it for this tier list. I appreciate you watching. If you agree, disagree, think some of these should be moved, feel free to comment below. I would love to hear you out. Until next time, everyone out there, stay safe.